What if the Ottoman Empire, the sick man of Europe, wasn't sick at all? What if it got a shot of adrenaline, a dose of modernization a century before it historically did? Let's rewind the clock, not to the 19th century, but to the early 1700s, the age of tulips. While historically, this was a brief flirtation with Western culture, imagine a sultan, perhaps Ahmed III, who saw it not as a fad, but as a blueprint for survival. Instead of just importing French architecture and tulips, this visionary sultan launches a full-scale revolution from the top down. He doesn't just dabble, he dives in headfirst. He invites not just artists, but engineers, military strategists, and political scientists from across Europe. The printing press, which was historically resisted, is now established in every major city, churning out translations of Newton, Locke, and Voltaire. The Janissaries, that powerful but conservative military corps, would be the first major hurdle. A direct confrontation would be bloody, so our wise sultan plays it smart. He doesn't disband them, he sidelines them. He creates a new, modern army, the Nizam-ı-Çedid, or New Order, but a century early. This force is trained with European firearms and tactics, its officers promoted on merit, not connections. The Janissaries, seeing the writing on the wall, are offered a choice: integrate into the new army or take a generous pension and retire. Many choose the latter, and the few who resist are swiftly and decisively dealt with by the superior new order. The spine of the old guard is broken. With military reform underway, the focus shifts to the economy. The capitulations, those trade agreements that gave European merchants a massive advantage, are renegotiated from a position of strength. The state invests heavily in industrialization. Textile mills, powered by steam engines, spring up in Anatolia and the Balkans. Shipyards in Istanbul and Izmir start building not just warships, but modern merchant fleets to compete on the global stage. A national bank is founded, stabilizing the currency and funding these ambitious projects. This isn't just a government initiative. Private enterprise is encouraged. Christian and Jewish minorities, with their extensive trade networks, are empowered as key partners in this new economic engine, their rights protected by law. This internal strengthening has massive external consequences. The 18th and 19th centuries would look completely different. Let's start with Russia. The relentless Russian expansion southwards, aiming for the warm water ports of the Black Sea, hits a wall. The Russo-Turkish Wars aren't a series of humiliating Ottoman defeats. Instead, a modernized Ottoman army, backed by a robust industrial base, fights the Tsarist forces to a standstill. Crimea might never be annexed by Russia. The Black Sea becomes an Ottoman lake once more, secured by a formidable navy. And what about the Balkans? The fires of nationalism, fanned by outside powers like Russia and Austria, would still ignite. But the Ottoman response would be different. Instead of mere suppression, a modernized and more confident empire might offer a different path: federalism. Imagine a United States of the Ottoman Empire. Regions like Serbia, Greece, and Bulgaria could be granted significant autonomy. Their own local parliaments, control over education and culture, all under a central government in Istanbul, responsible for defense and foreign policy. This would be a radical idea, a multi-ethnic empire transforming into a constitutional federation. It might not satisfy the most extreme nationalists, but for many, the stability and economic benefits of staying within a reformed, powerful empire would be a compelling alternative to bloody independence wars. This Ottoman resurgence would completely upend the Great Game. Great Britain and France, who were used to propping up a weak Ottoman Empire to counter Russia, now face a new, unpredictable power. They can't just bully this new Turkey. The Eastern question, what to do with the declining Ottoman territories, is no longer a question. The Ottomans are providing their own answer. Think about the Napoleonic Wars. When Napoleon invades Egypt, he isn't met by a disorganized Mamluk force. He's confronted by a well-drilled modern Ottoman army. The French expedition could be a catastrophic failure, altering Napoleon's career and the course of European history. The empire retains firm control over its North African and Middle Eastern territories. There would be no 19th century scramble for Africa that carves up Ottoman lands. Egypt, Libya, and Tunisia remain firmly within the Istanbul orbit. Economically, the Suez Canal project would still be a brilliant idea, But this time, it would be an Ottoman-led project, funded by the Ottoman National Bank. Instead of falling into British hands, the most important waterway in the world would be controlled by Istanbul, giving it immense leverage over global trade. The oil discovered in the Middle East in the early 20th century? That wealth wouldn't be siphoned off by Western companies. It would flow directly into the Ottoman treasury, funding further modernization, universities, and infrastructure, creating a powerhouse economy straddling 3 continents. Culturally, this empire would be a fascinating blend. Istanbul wouldn't just be a museum of its past glory. It would be a vibrant, modern metropolis, a true bridge between East and West. You'd hear Turkish, Arabic, Greek, and Armenian on its streets, not as relics of the past, but as languages of commerce, art, and science. The Tanzimat reforms of equality and citizenship would happen a century earlier and be far more deeply embedded in the state's fabric. Of course, this path wouldn't be easy. There would be conservative backlash, ethnic tensions, and the constant challenge of managing such a diverse state. A constitutional crisis or a civil war would always be a possibility, but the potential is staggering. An Ottoman Empire that successfully modernized early wouldn't be the sick man of Europe. It would be a dynamic, multi-ethnic superpower, a constitutional monarchy or federation that could have shaped the 20th century in ways we can barely imagine. World War I might never have happened, or if it did, the sides would be drawn very differently, with a powerful Ottoman state as a kingmaker, not a pawn. The modern Middle East, with its straight-line borders drawn by colonial powers, would simply not exist. Instead, we'd see a region with a shared history that evolved organically, for better or for worse, under its own steam. It's a powerful reminder of how a few different choices, a few bold decisions, can completely redraw the map of the world. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into alternate history. What do you think would have happened? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, please give it a like, subscribe for more, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next exploration. See you next time.